Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Caravan of Garbage, where, of course, we are working our way through currently DC graveyard, the bin fire, the trash bag,
the leftovers, whatever you want to call it. Now, look, last week we did Catwoman. It obviously should have been there for a number of reasons. Things coming up, who knows what's next? I think also obviously should have been there. This week, though, kind of a big shame. Disappointingly, a good movie, I thought, even on a rewatch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we are, of course, talking about Constantine from 2005. Now, it's interesting because, like all of Alan Moore's adaptations, he probably famously hates this one as well, I assume.
Yes, but I think the difference is this creation he's claimed to have met in real life.
That is true.
Yeah.
But I think he just met Sting.
I think he might have met Sting. Because famously, John Constantine, originally introduced in an issue, I think, of Swamp Thing,
Yes.
was designed visually to look like Sting. Like the artists were like, we want to make a guy that looks like Sting.
Yeah.
And the idea being that, like, I think that
British and all, you know?
Yep, very British. The idea that, you know, a lot of wizards, when you think of a wizard, you think of a Gandalf or a Merlin, like they're very quite hoity-toity and wizened and old and kind of wearing robes and hard to relate to kind of things. So they're like, what about a really down-to-earth working class kind of magician?
And he's drunk.
And he's from Liverpool in the original things.
Absolutely.
So you know, you might think he's like Cockney or something, but he actually sounds like the Beatles.
He does.
Hello, I'm John Constantine.
I'm one of the Beatles. Which one do you think I sound
Maybe
like?
I was at one of the Beatles. I killed Paul and I became one of the Beatles.
Have you heard that
I became
theory?
John Lennon. There were two John Lennons for a few years. I just got rid of McCartney.
Have you heard that Paul McCartney theory that he died and was being
Yes,
replaced?
he was killed by John Constantine.
There we go.
Yes.
Okay, so I'd like to just briefly touch on the actual comic book version of Constantine.
Please.
Because this is mostly it, with a couple of significant changes. But what does he do? What is he about generally? If you haven't seen like even the newer show.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Well, he's driven by a need to save humanity from denizens of the underworld and
Yes.
also themselves. But he's also a real prick.
Yeah.
But he's witty and he's kind of rude and he's very arrogant, but he's got the powers to back it up.
Yeah, absolutely. He'll often be in a scenario where he's completely outmatched, but guess what? He's got a magic book and he's trapped you in a weird dimension or something.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
He'll do something
Or
along
he
those
previously
lines.
made a deal with somebody else with a magic book. He'll trap you in the magic book. He doesn't have to lift a
Exactly.
finger because he already chatted up the bloke with the magic book.
That's right, that's right. So initially in the comics, the idea was that he was going to hell because he summoned a demon, which ended up killing a little girl and dragging them to hell. Mm-hmm. This time around in the movie, it's because he attempted a suicide and that is a sin. So eventually he's going to end up in hell. So he's like, I'm going to try and buy my way into heaven by just saving as many people as I can. And what I think I like about this version a lot, well, a number of things.
You like that he smokes.
I like that he
love
smokes.
that.
That's
you love
cool.
That. You recommend it to everyone.
And there's no consequences for that.
That's true.
It turns out in this movie in the end. But I feel like he's got, even though he's using like crazy occult stuff and all these methods and there's a bizarre logic to the universe, he just feels like an exterminator. You know?
Sure,
he's
yeah.
not like great at kung fu. He's like, okay, what kind of demon is this? Oh, this is I can probably trap this in a mirror, I reckon. Yep, okay. I need a big mirror. I need like 4 pretty strong people. Don't look at the demon. We'll just get that. We're
going to trap it in a mirror.
Move your car. We're throwing a demon out the window in a mirror.
We're going to trap the demon in the mirror. We're going to kick it out the window. Hopefully that'll kill it. I don't know. Or at least it's out of this room. I don't have to deal with it anymore.
But I think also, if you love Keanu Reeves running around in a wetsuit with wet hair, my God.
To be clear, a regular suit that is wet,
Not
not a
wetsuit.
wetsuit.
That's right. But I think the idea that he's no longer English and, you know, and he doesn't look anything like him, it doesn't hurt this movie. It's a different adaptation. And the idea was also they tried to get this off the ground with an English actor. Maybe they went with like a Ralph Fiennes or someone in the mid-2000s. Or a Sting. But no one was interested and they went, okay, Keanu Reeves. And they went, yep,
Yeah.
absolutely, instantly. But what a cast all round, wouldn't you say?
Tilda Swinton.
Yes.
Rachel Weisz.
That's a Chain Reaction reunion.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Jimon Honsu makes an appearance.
Really gets around in the superhero genre, doesn't he?
Really does.
Really should give him a lead role.
I
Hollywood.
agree. I completely
Something
agree.
cool, you know?
Michelle Monaghan, very briefly, she had a bigger role. Gavin Rossdale of Bush fame.
That's right.
Is in this movie.
Yeah.
And of course, Peter Stormare as the devil.
And Shia LaBeouf.
Okay, well, okay, let's
You
talk
were going to
about
save that for later, were you?
No, I wasn't. Actually, I didn't mean to leave that out. But I do have a note about him.
Go
and
on.
look, despite all of the things about him in real life that I absolutely do not like at all, because they're terrible, but these are the kind of roles I feel like suit him best. Just someone's sidekick.
Sure, right, okay,
And
yeah.
that's as far as I think that needs to kind of go. You know what I mean? I never kind of bought him as like the big leading kind of action man thing that he was going for. You know what I mean?
But he spent a few movies as Megan Fox's sidekick in the
It's true,
Transformers
he
movies.
absolutely did.
Despite what the movies may have attempted to tell us, he was the sidekick.
You are absolutely not wrong. What do you think about the dynamic between him and Rachel Weisz? Like, for example, they don't kiss, and I think that's good. They just
She's mad for it. She wants that kiss.
Do you think
from
so?
this mysterious bad boy? Yes.
I don't know about that.
She's always like, "Ooh, kissing time," and he's like, "Nah, I gotta give you a weird magic pendant or whatever."
It's I'm dying of cancer time, as
Yeah.
it is
That's true.
all the time.
Yeah, no, you're
for
right.
me. But no, I liked that they were just like, we're working together. There doesn't need to be a big kiss. Apparently, they didn't.
Actual line from the movie.
That's right, but they didn't even film it because they're like, if we film this, it'll go in.
They will insist on putting it in. Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely. It's kind of a movie where it's way more creative than it probably needs to be. Like, he's not much of a fighter. Like, if you got him in a fist fight, you might win, you know?
Unless he brings out those holy brass knuckles.
Well, exactly, because with him, he's got like holy water, he's got like various relics, crosses and the like. He's got a beetle, like a screaming beetle. He's got dragon's
Paul
breath.
McCartney. He didn't kill him after
There
all.
we go. He's trapped him in a little box.
Yeah. Let me out.
Help me out. Get me out of this box.
I've got a Wings concert to go to later.
He's in the crowd of Wings.
Yeah, he's in the crowd, yeah.
Because who's in Wings? It doesn't matter.
He's in Wings.
I know he is. But like, you know the bit where he lights the rag on fire? Like, that's apparently part of like Moses' shroud. Like, it's not explained. Yeah. Like you mentioned, the holy brass knuckles.
God, I love weird relics in movies.
I know. And they're not specifically explained either.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, they sort of,
Which is good, I'm
At
saying.
times, I think they sort of lean into gimmickry. But I think what I like about this particular version of the character is he's got the gadgets and he's got these gizmos and relics, but he's also got his wits about him, right?
Yeah.
At the end, he doesn't win because he's, it isn't the big golden crucifix gun that wins the day in the end. It's his wits, which
exactly.
I like.
Though I do like the big golden crucifix gun. That
hell
scene
yeah.
with the sprinkler system, and he's just shotgunning demons. Terrific stuff. But yeah, you're absolutely right, and that's what's appealing about him. And I also love that he has a piece of Moses' shroud, and he's just like, I'm going to torch this, and now it's gone.
Yeah, right.
That's it. I only had one of these. Mm-hmm. And I think also a lot of those details are brought into like the monsters and the creatures of this universe. Like, you look at like the angels, for example. I think that's a really kind of dynamic look. The way that the Gavin Rossdale's face, it's like layers of prosthetic, and you see it kind of peeling away. And then he fights that man made of like vermin and crabs and bugs and things like that. I love all of that. I think that's... You could have just been like, I don't know, a demon attacks him in the street or whatever. But, you know, it's like a swarm. And, like, how do you even approach something like that, you know? He's got a crab in him. You punch the crab.
In him. I'm not entirely sure. Whenever hell or another dimension, they do this in Stranger Things and some other properties where the alternate dimension, in this case hell, is just the regular world.
It's got
but it's on fire. And it's like, how's that work, generally speaking? Is there some demon there like, my palace... Where's my palace gone? And they're like, well, they tore that building down. They built apartments. So
but also,
you don't have a palace anymore. Sorry.
Heaven has apartments. We get a brief glimpse and it's just skyscrapers.
Yeah.
Is everybody just like packed into like...
Yeah. Space is at a premium, James. People have been dying for at least 6,000 years. That's
a very, very good point. Yeah. So yeah, I guess the thing of this story is as well, it's Rachel Weisz has a twin sister, conveniently. Who can see demons and the like.
Oh, I see. Detective, you have a twin sister, conveniently. Dialogue from the movie.
And the idea is to kind of rescue her from hell and stop Rachel Weisz from going. And John Constantine is also trying to stop himself from going to hell, you know?
Sure.
But the reasons
I'm starting to think people don't want to go to this hell place.
Absolutely. But I think also, like, the reasons that he's being kept out or being told by the angels on Earth is because he's only doing it for selfish reasons. But it turns out that everybody involved in this war is just a prick.
Sure.
And even though he like weasels his way out of it at the end, I also get the feeling that maybe he wasn't going to go and they're just telling him that. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, I don't think that's probably what happens in the movie, but you know what I mean? They just seem like petty enough where it's like,
We're under a good thing here. I reckon if we just let this guy just kill a few more demons or
Yeah,
whatever.
right.
But I like the idea of a universe where no one's really good here, you know?
Yeah, I mean that's the classic noir, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, Constantine may not be the best guy, but he's better than all these guys.
And he has a shotgun.
Does have that golden shotgun, baby.
Golden shotgun. I also think one of my favorite moments from this is the bit where the devil shows up in the end.
Yeah.
Played by Peter Stormare. And what I found this fascinating bit of trivia where the idea of the costume initially was leather trousers, bare-chested, a dog collar with spikes, and tattoos all over his face.
On Peter Stormare.
Yes, and Peter
Interesting.
Stormare was like, what if I just had an off-white suit and my feet were covered in tar?
Sure.
And that is so much more interesting.
It's more interesting, and it sort of works with the idea that he's a fallen angel.
Yeah.
So maybe the white suit came with his office job back in the day, but now he's been spending some time in the muck. That's a perfect visual metaphor. I love it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
Better than that weird white bondage outfit that angels wear, apparently.
Oh, yeah.
With those bootcut jeans with the laces down the side.
yeah, you're absolutely
That's not
wrong.
flattering on a lot of body types. Sleeveless shirt.
You know
I'd rather wear some sleeves.
You
quite
want some
frankly.
sleeves?
Want some sleeves.
Maybe you need to do more push-ups, Mason.
Yeah, maybe.
And then you'd feel more confident. Or maybe just wear it. You know what I mean?
I thought you were going to say, well, maybe just one push-up.
Just one big push-up over the course of a year.
Yeah.
I reckon that'd do ya. And again, you mentioned like the finale of the devil shows up and he's like, "You're coming with me," and it's not like I've come to summon you and you're John Constantine. You're coming to hell. Like he lights his cigarette. They have a little chat. The devil doesn't even seem to hate him. He's just kind of like, "You're pretty annoying, and this is fun for me, I guess, just to pop in, you know."
Yeah.
And yeah, like you mentioned, he doesn't shotgun him to death. He just tricks him, which is a very John Constantine.
It's very John
thing to
Constantine.
do.
In fact, I think in the original Hellblazer storyline in which he gets cancer, he gets out of it in a similar way, but I believe he sells his soul to 3 different demons at the same time, so they can't. They can't decide which has more right to his soul, so they just have to leave him on Earth.
Very good. And you know, I like that the devil's like, rather than you go to heaven, I'm going to cure your cancer, and I'm
going to get you eventually. You'll trip up Mr. John Constantine.
Exactly.
You'll eventually kill a member of a 1960s rock group that somebody will be mad about, and then you'll end up in hell again. You know? It won't be Keith Richards. He will never die.
No. I gotta say though, Mason, I'm loving this joke.
It's a good joke, right?
I'm a big
And what's
fan.
great about it is even if you didn't like it, you couldn't take it out. 'cause
No,
it's,
absolutely
It's
not.
essentially the infrastructure of this whole video now. If you took it out, none of this
It's
would
the
make any sense.
backbone.
Yes.
The devil's
Yeah.
backbone. But even how he gives the devil the finger.
Yes.
Like that's fun.
Yeah.
That's great.
I think a less cool character, I'd be like, that's a bit much.
I
isn't it? But
agree.
in this, I'm like,
imagine if it
heck
was
yeah, I would
imagine
say.
if it was Shia LaBeouf in the lead.
Sure.
Yeah. Anyways, would you like some cons trivia?
I would love. Yes.
That's some John Constantine trivia,
Oh,
everybody.
okay.
So here's some other names that were considered for John Constantine.
I would have called it John Constantine : Hellblazer trivia.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's too late.
It's too late. So you
Cons trivia is the backbone of this
know,
podcast.
okay, fine. I guess you're right. I can't take it out.
So here's some other names that were up for it. Nicolas Cage. Surprise, surprise.
There we go.
Because every comic book character at one point was Nicolas Cage was
He
involved.
wanted one so bad.
That's right. Mel Gibson. Which, you know, off the back of like Payback, I could see that working, but
Okay.
also good. And here's one. Kevin Spacey. Considered.
I'm glad that didn't happen.
Me too. Because maybe we'll see more Constantine. We'll talk this particular version we'll talk about in a bit.
Oh.
Alan Moore decided to reject all money and credit from Hollywood on any adaptations of his work. Thus, he gave all the money he would have gotten to the artist who drew the characters with him and rejected his own created by credit from this film and others.
I got to respect his commitment. He's been doing that for years.
Yep.
There you go.
He's like, I'm rich and I live in a cave or whatever. I don't care.
true,
I'll
yeah.
do what I want.
I
Yeah.
met John Constantine once. He said to give all the money back. You know what? But you know what? Check out his work. Check out.
Oh, yeah.
Check out Hellblazer. Check out. I mean, people are probably aware he created Watchmen, V for Vendetta.
Yep.
Just so much stuff. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, but we don't talk about that a lot. But check
The
out
comic,
check
yeah.
out the comic book. It's way better.
He's doing good Swamp Thing, isn't he?
Sure.
Yeah. The Spear of Destiny prop is the same one used in Hellboy 2004.
Ah.
What I also like about the Spear of Destiny is it's introduced from the very get-go. It's like the Spear of Destiny went missing. Where is it? Oh, here it is.
Sure.
And you think like, this is going to be the thing that stops the whatever. Nah,
No.
it's not.
It's a cheeky con job.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, you may as well have tricked the devil with that shell game where you put the P under the...
You could have bested him in Mario Party.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah. Also, to tie into Hellboy, it's my last bit of constrivia. The title was changed from Hellblazer because it was too similar to Hellboy.
Ah, not Hellraiser?
No.
Okay, but
Well,
I think that was
Hellraiser by then.
I think that was originally. Oh, I think the original comic book was going to be called Hellraiser.
Yeah.
But then Hellraiser came out, so they're like, what about Hellblazer?
Perfect.
But then somebody invented the navy blue blazer. So to call it Constantine.
God damn.
Right?
Also, this is a new type of trivia that I'm going to spring on you, Mason.
Okay.
It's called It's Time for Mason's Watch Trivia. So John Constantine wears a watch.
Oh,
What is it?
It's an Oris modern classic.
Oh,
James.
look at this guy.
Yeah.
He's like Rain.
Don't test me on these
He's
things,
like
James.
Rain Man for watches. I love it.
Yeah. You can pick one of those up on eBay, I reckon. Yeah. Came out, I think they stopped production in like the late 90s, that particular model, but I bet you could pick one up for a very reasonable price.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Well, not now that it's in this incredibly successful
Sold
video.
out. Sorry, everybody.
Yeah.
So you were saying something about sequels?
Yeah, well, before I get to that, I'll just quickly talk box office. Unlike the other movies we're talking about, this one did quite well, comparatively. It cost between 70 to 100 million to make, but it made 230, which meant it probably broke even. I don't have the exact numbers.
Get the air horns out. It's the probably broke even horns.
And look, whenever we talk about box office, people are like, well, this is how you figure it out, and other people think it's a different way.
To be clear, we don't know.
No, but
we don't know anything.
And it's not only that, it's different studio to studio, movie to movie.
That's true.
Just to clarify that. So yes, because it did okay, and because people liked it, there's been rumblings that this might make an appearance.
But I mean, I think
this version.
Yeah. And I think probably the reason that it didn't get a sequel fairly soon after is everybody in the cast went on to do a bunch of other stuff,
That is
including
true.
win multiple Oscars. Tilda Swinton won, Rachel Weisz won an Oscar.
Yep. Peter Stormare had to go back to hell.
That's true. Shia LaBeouf was in Transformers movies for a decade.
Well, he died in this also.
Yeah,
but it
that's
doesn't
true.
matter, I guess, in this universe, does it? Yeah. So there was going to be a Justice League Dark movie for a time, but I don't think that was going to be this version. But Francis Lawrence, who directed this, and I Am Legend, and all the Hunger Games movies, and a bunch of other stuff, he's talked about wanting to continue it, and said, we got caught in this weird PG-13 no R rating, no man's land, and we should do a hard R scary version, which I would still love to do. Also, going into this, it doesn't feel PG-13, does it? Like when you see a demon's face melt off. You know what I mean? There's a bunch of things that happen in this, and suicides, and talk of being trapped in hell, and there's a rude middle finger.
And worst of all, there's one F-bomb.
That's right.
Which is the ultimate,
You're fucked.
And Keanu Reeves has also said multiple times over the years that he is absolutely open to returning. I do wonder whether maybe that's why he's never taken on a major comic book role.
Because he wants to come back to this?
Not that you can't. You can do both.
Sure,
do both. You know what I mean? But just because...
these days you must do both. You got to be multiple characters and then they can all meet later.
Exactly.
Some sort of multimedia extravaganza, and we can all point and we like, look, he's Constantine, and he's John Lennon, and he's a Marvel guy, some Marvel guy. Who cares? I don't know.
Yes. Some Marvel guy. Who cares? Yeah. Perfect. Peter Stormare also said in 2020 that a sequel was in the works, which is interesting. But as of this point, as of recording, nothing official. But do not be surprised if we see Keanu Reeves as John Constantine pop up yet again. And quite frankly, good. And also good that they cast it all the way back then, because you probably couldn't cast him now, because people would be upset about the hair and the
Oh,
British
very
thing.
true. But
As they
now
were
we've
at the
seen him
time.
before,
Yeah,
so now we
yeah.
must have him again.
Exactly.
But I mean,
People were
yeah.
a bit upset at the time, but people didn't really...
Look,
know that
I
much
mean,
about
but
it.
at this point, I imagine everybody would still be game to do this. I mean, Tilda Swinton was, of course, the ancient one in Doctor Strange, and so forth. But
Peter Stormare was in the Joey spin-off.
That's true.
Which might have been Joey.
A spin-off of Joey. It was called Joey, a spin-off of Joey.
Joey and his even more boring mate.
But I mean, I guess you better hope they all agree to a pay cut. They're like, we've all agreed to do this for scale.
Yeah.
And Keanu's going to give everybody motorcycles.
Or maybe he's in The Flash.
He might be in The Flash,
He
yeah.
might be,
Chuck him
yeah.
in The Flash.
Anyways, this has been Caravan of Garbage, and yes, we do these every week. I heard your questions. Yes, just look
Yeah.
at the channel; they're here every week.
Why are you asking? Why are you watching one video and then asking this question?
It's ridiculous.
Have you never seen YouTube before? If you haven't, welcome to YouTube.
It's amazing. Look around.
It's mostly horrible.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, it's an amazing platform, but you could go down some real dark rabbit holes. Speaking of, if you would like to see these videos early, Mason, you can. If you
Go
head
down
over
the
to-
darkest rabbit hole of them
That's
all.
right. Head over to bigsandwich.co, which is like our Patreon. It's $9 a month, but it's not just early videos. We do bonus podcasts exclusively there, along with exclusive movie commentaries and a bunch of other stuff if you do want to check it out, including our podcast, The Weekly Planet, where we're talking movies and comics and TV shows. That comes out there Sunday as opposed to Monday. All of that is also ad-free. What an ad pitch. I've done it. But here's something else for you, Mason.
Nothing sus.
Agreed. Do you want to hint towards next week?
Yes.
Here it is.
After that night, some say he was a changed man. That his spirit crossed over, giving him powers that can't be explained.
Anyways,
I've never seen Jonah Hex.
me neither.
Oh, this is a real trip.
Man, what a wild ride
Right.
that will be. And then he went on to be Thanos.
It's true.
And he was in Deadpool 2. All right.
Oh, yeah.
We're out of here, though. I'm at Mr. Sunday Movies on Twitter.
I'm at Wikipedia Brown on Twitter.
Thank you to both Ben and Lawrence for the edit. And again, if you've got any suggestions for Caravan of Garbage, let us know below in the comment.
Now.
In the comment.
In the comment. The one comment.
The one comment will allow.
If you look and somebody's already made a comment, it's too late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, let's do it. No, do a comment.
Okay, you can
anyway.
do more comment.
Okay, goodbye.
Okay. Grab that jammy, guys. We'll see you next week.